You want to know why Malcolm Reynolds is a badass? Just watch the trailer.
I'm not threatening you. I'm unarmed. Good.
Well, if it wasn't established before, it's established now. Badass space pirates, they shoot first. Serenity. So Serenity is the 2-hour theatrically released conclusion by Universal, not Fox, which is interesting, to Joss Whedon's Firefly. It was written and directed by him. It's the first theatrically released movie that he did direct. For all intents and purposes, the movie shouldn't exist. Movies don't get made out of canceled television shows. This one did, because you fight the power and you win. So my review for Serenity here is going to be spoiler filled. Here's my logic for that. You either watched my review for Firefly or you didn't. If you didn't, you don't care about the Firefly story, so spoilers here shouldn't bother you. If you did watch my review for Firefly, you either got enticed to watch Firefly or you didn't. If you didn't, you don't care about Firefly, in which spoilers for Serenity shouldn't bother you. If you did watch Firefly, then you got enticed to watch Serenity. There's no other option. So you've seen Serenity or you don't care. Either way, spoilers in this review. So the show Firefly really alluded to and actually established in the last episode that River Tam is a psychic. That plays into this movie big time because at the beginning of this movie, you see River Tam being worked on and Simon busts her out. And the Alliance has sent an assassin after her, simply known as the Operative, because the guy has no name, he has no rank, he's a ghost. And he's one of those really cool assassin types also. He's really well spoken. He's like, I'm polite. I just believe that killing you is what must happen. He'll tell you your sin, like, you know what your sin is? It's pride. And then he'll kill you. That's a cool assassin right there. But he also tells at the beginning of this movie, the reason the Alliance wants River Tam back is because she's a psychic, and key members of Parliament personally observed River Tam, in which through her psychic abilities accidentally gleaned information out of them. Information that could be bad for the Alliance, so now, yeah, they want her killed. And with the whole River Tam having information from the minds of the people in Parliament, you can tell that's where Joss Whedon was like, I had more planned, but I have to sum it up in 2 hours, so here you go. It would have been cool to see where the series went and how much more he could have added to it, but for just having a 2-hour window, he does a good job here. He focuses the points that need to be focused and gives you what you love about Firefly where you need it. And after that, now we have Serenity, and I love the title segment in Serenity. It shows the ship, it's landing, it shows Mal in the cockpit with Wash, and ultimately you go through the entire ship and you meet and greet everybody, and then off to the first job they go. But that few minutes of Mal walking through and talking with people, it all looks like one shot, but actually I think it's two. It shows a scene where it's on Mal, and then it goes back to Simon Tam, and right there I think there's a splice. So it's 2 shots made to look like one shot, but it's really impressive. By the end of that entire segment of Mal walking through Serenity, you know everything you need to know about the characters, and you get the entire tour of Serenity. It's a 2-in-1 package. Perfect way to start this movie out, after, you know, the assassin killed a couple people. Now, after the crew does their heist, that town gets ravaged by Reavers. You finally see Reavers. I mean, at first, I'm watching the movie, you're like, oh, cool, we saw Reavers. At least they got to show them. But you don't know, they're like the key ingredient to everything. And Simon has told Mal after punching him, he's like, we're off your boat. And Mal's like, shiny, get out. Okay, Mal's hands are clean. He has an out, right? But River's watching this video feed and she looks into it and she's just like, Miranda. Then she turns around and proceeds to beat the shit out of everyone. I'm not talking, she just starts clobbering guys. This chick knows jujitsu.
She is a mite unpredictable. Mood swings of a sort.
It's worse than you know.
It usually is.
She's a little weapon. She's an 85-pound weapon for the Alliance. That doesn't bode well for people, as you see. What I love about this is after Simon gives the sleep word and makes her go to sleep, because she has subliminal messaging in her brain, Mal goes over and picks her up and brings her back onto Serenity, and the doctor comes with. He had an out. He could have just left him there. It's like, whatever, not my problem. But that's not his way. As much as he wants to come across as a hardened dick, and is sometimes, he actually has a heart of gold, like I said in my series review of Firefly. And I give this movie credit. It doesn't pick up right where the show left off. Inara's not on the ship anymore. She's training other companions on this other world. Shepard Book's not on the ship either. You could have just as easily had them on the ship and been like, oh no, it's like a day later. But you can tell some time has passed. Not much time with Inara because she did illustrate at the end of the series. She's like, I'm leaving Serenity. So there is that. But you know, Book's gone now and he's changed his hair. He's got cornrows now. Basic preacher hairstyle, I guess. And of course, Book's like, they're gonna keep this quiet, Mal. They're gonna come at you sideways like velociraptors. They're gonna send an operative. They want this kept quiet. And Mal's like, you know an awful lot about this book. And you're like, you know an awful lot about this book. And Mal's like, you gotta tell me about how you know about this sometime. And Book's like, No, I don't. And no, he won't. And we'll never know, unless you read a graphic novel, I guess. But we'll never know. Would have loved to. Now, what is Miranda? They find Miranda. It's a planet. They were like, oh yeah, something about the terraforming didn't take, and there were a couple of little settlements, but that was it. But they get down to Miranda, and they're like, nah, nothing's wrong with this place. Just everyone's dead. But it's not like everyone got wasted and killed and wiped out. Just everyone's just kind of dead. And you find out the Alliance manufactured this chemical in which they used Miranda as a testing grounds for. And this chemical was supposed to subdue people and make them less violent, less aggravated, less irritable. In which everyone stopped caring about anything and everything and stopped caring about having sex or going to work or sleeping, and they just laid down and they were like, oh, we're just gonna lay here because we don't care. So they're like, oh, we're starving to death, but we don't care, we don't care. And everyone just died. Yeah, that would be bad enough information to have against the Alliance, but here's the best part. 0.1% of the population had the opposite effect on them. They became irritable and enraged and angry and started scraping at each other and killing people and raping people. And you're like, holy shit, they created the Reavers. The Alliance wiped out an entire planet and created the Reavers. That's pretty bad smear campaigning right there that you got against him. And after that, I love this monologue that Mal gives. He gives this whole monologue in front of his crew, and he's like, you all got on this boat for different reasons, but now I'm gonna ask more of you than I ever have. And it just goes on from there. Every time I see it, I get a little choked up. You're like, this is awesome. It's Mal going, no more running. We're going to go at them. So they got this idea to go to Mr. Universe, which is this guy on this planet who's pretty much proof positive that brain cancer has been cured in the future, because this guy lives on a planet where all the information goes. It's just this big information hub. You can see electronic information floating around this world. And the guy doesn't have brain cancer? No, brain cancer is no longer around in the future, apparently. The guy would have died after being there for a week. And I love this part because the operative is there with his warship and a few Alliance ships. Mal comes through the clouds and he was like, bastards not even changing course. And all these Reaver ships just boom come through the clouds. Because Mal was pretty much like, all right, we gotta fly through Reaver space. And he was like, hey, Reaver, follow me. And they followed him. He brings them right to the doorstep and he's like, here, you deal with them. I need to go to Mr. Universe and get a signal out. And this is the only time you see the operative really lose his shit. He's like, target the Reavers, target the ships, somebody fire. Yeah, not so calm now, are you? The worst death, just the dumbest death in movie history right here. Wash just gets killed. Just blinked out of he's dead. I'm a leaf on the wind. What? Dead. What? Dude was totally Boba Fetted. In fact, no, he wasn't Boba Fetted. Boba Fett was washed. Actually, I like that. Washed. All right, here it is. From now on, when someone has a stupid, just out of the blue death in a movie, I'm no longer going to call it Boba Fetted. It's now known as being washed. But he just dies, and you're like, why'd you die? Earlier on in the movie, Shepard Book died, and I kind of get that death. They're like, okay, we need to wipe out everywhere that Serenity goes to rest up and hide, and so now we're just going to wipe everyone out. Shepard Book was there, so he died. I can buy that. In the movie, someone is probably gonna die. But Book and Wash for no reason whatsoever. You can argue that it had to get Zoe into mode and she had to be like, okay, it's a fight to the death now. I'm a soldier again. I'm pretty sure she would have fought to keep Wash alive had he lived through the landing. In any case, neither here nor there. Everyone's making their stand, and now Mal goes down to get the signal out in which he has to fight the operative. What I love about it is Mal is really physically no match for this operative. But you do see it in Mal's mind, in his brain. Earlier on in the movie, Book told him, he's like, the thing that's gonna get you through this is belief. And he wasn't talking about God, even though he is a preacher. He was just saying belief, because this operative really truly believes that killing River Tam is the right thing to do. And Mal's face to face with him, and he's like, the rest of the verse is gonna know what happened. And the operative's like, do you really believe that? And Mal's like, I do. And he goes, are you willing to die for that belief? And Mal just stops, and he's like, I am. And you see it and you're like, Mal, that's why you're a badass too. And after a fight in which it's not really a fight, it's Mal more or less getting his ass kicked and stabbed. He gets a couple good hits in there though, but this is River's time to be like, hey, this is what the Alliance was doing with me, and this is how I'm gonna use it for us. She goes in there and she tears shit into these Reavers. We're talking, this chick is immaculate. Any fighter in any movie, she can take any of them on. This chick would probably get a flawless victory against Shao Kahn himself, the cheapest boss in fighting game history. River would do it. She cleans them all out. And in the end of this movie, they get the signal out and everyone's just in bad shape. But the operative's like, damage done, stand down. It's done. There's no need to kill them now. And also, you can argue that he didn't see the information before because he's one of the guys who's like, I'm an operative. I don't ask questions. And Mal's like, I'm going to show you. This is your world without sin. This is what the Alliance does. You can see the operative's like, Yeah, I'm still a human being. That sucks ass. As far as douchebags who got Shepherd Book killed, he's not a bad dude. He's just an asshole sometimes. Serenity wasn't the plan. Joss Whedon, I'm sure, had more to do with the story. It's like Mal said to the operative, it's like, it's not exactly plan A. But with an hour-and-a-half window to theatrically wrap up his Firefly saga, he did the best job possible. And the first theatrically released motion picture you've ever done, and this is it? It's no wonder he got the Avengers job, seriously. If this were any other movie and I wasn't attached to the characters and this was just a movie in theaters that I saw, I'd probably say it's a buy it on Blu-ray type of situation. But since this is a really satisfying conclusion to an epic story in which I've gotten involved with these characters, and it's a really easy movie to watch, you can pop it in and be like, let's be entertained for an hour and a half or an hour 45 minutes, whatever. Serenity is Awesometacular. So that's my conclusion to the Serenity movie review. It's not like it's as epic as Serenity the movie, but hey, now you got your Firefly review, now you got your Serenity review. Life is good, at least for me, because I like talking about it. So have you seen Serenity? What did you think of it? Was it everything you wanted the conclusion of Firefly to be? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more. Let's see him shoot first one more time, for good measure.
I want to resolve this like civilized men. I'm not threatening you.
I'm unarmed.
Good.